All right, everybody, welcome to our first session of Pathfinder 2nd Edition, the Extinction Curse Adventure Path. I'm super excited about playing some Pathfinder 2. It's been nice to play basic Dungeons & Dragons on Sunday and had a couple of deaths already. But of course, I've been so forgiving on that. And but yeah, Pathfinder 2. Looking forward to it. Look at this cast of characters that we have here. Doug, it's good to have you in the game, man. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Looks like you're playing Emu and Splug. It'll be fun to see your goblin.
You got your insurance commercial going, Emu?
I got it. I'm ready to go. But it's going to feature prominently in my act, I think.
Kang the War Priest, even though I just put Kang the Priest on the overlay because I didn't have enough room. What's going on, Lance? Good to have you in the game.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. 010, one of the fan favorites.
Shocking grasp, let's go.
Let's see if you can catch a tent on fire. And last but not least,
Expect shenanigans.
the only reason why I'm bringing back Omee Barton is because I'm so tired of getting thrashed on the YouTube comments. No, well, welcome back, man. It's good to see you back and have some time to play now that you've been on the front lines helping everybody with this pandemic that we're going through. So good to see you back, Will, and good to see everybody. And we'll see if we can't, have some fun with some Pathfinder 2. I'm looking forward to it. All right, adventurers, so we are starting out. You guys are part of a traveling circus, and the circus is called the Circus of Wayward Wonders. And this is sort of a strange story on how you guys became a part of this. Originally, you guys were part of another circus called the Celestial Menagerie, and it was run by the catfolk Mistress Dusklight, the ringmaster. And you guys did not like all of the shenanigans and behind-the-scenes things that were going on, like the abuse of the acts. If they had a bad act, they would really pay for it. Just not financially, but they'd get beat and tortured and stuff like that. All of the mistreatment of the animals and the exploitation of a lot of different acts. They would bring in gnomes and halflings and dwarves and just treat the help bad. So along with all of you kind of thinking, man, we need to do something here, your good friend, Myron Stendhal, which is his nickname is Thunder, he had a bright idea to where, hey, let's go ahead and let's start our own circus. So about 100 of you from the Celestial Menagerie Circus, you guys set off to create your own circus. And this is a year ago. So you guys have had a year to build this circus up, get your acts, practice your acts, get all of your help, get your roundabouts, get your security team, your medical team, everything you guys needed. And you guys have the Circus of Wayward Wonders. And you've done a couple of shows here and there throughout, throughout Galarian. But the big show is in the town Abaton, and that's tonight. It's showtime. It's now been a year, and tonight is finally the big night. So that's the backstory to where you guys are. And this, like I said, this circus is very new. You guys haven't even had your first big act yet. So Myron Stendhal, he's calling the shots. He also has an assistant. His name is Zarlian Caiaphas, and he is basically, he's the barker. You know, his nickname is the Professor. So the Circus of Wayward Wonders set up in Abington. The smells, you guys have been prepared for this for a week, setting up the big top, getting all of the acts together. But you guys don't know who's performing tonight, because good old Thunder doesn't like to, he knows what's going on. He's the ringmaster. He knows what's going on. But everybody's kind of on edge. He hasn't announced who's going on yet tonight. And so there's a little chaos as you guys are getting ready, and everybody's backstage, and you can smell popcorn. You can hear the crowd out behind the curtain getting ready for this highly anticipated show for tonight. You know, everybody previously in the week, everyone was running around handing out flyers. Zero and a couple other of the wizards of the circus were creating magical billboards that were animated. You know, plus you guys were doing a couple of, you know, shows around, just kind of hyping up the crowd. So it's time. And that's a good thing, because as you guys are kind of peeking out in, you know, cuts of the screen and between the flaps, the tent is holding hundreds and hundreds of people. You guys don't have the biggest tent. Not as big as, you know, the Celestial Menagerie, but they're a highly prestigious circus. You guys are just getting started. But your tent is at max capacity. And that's a good thing, because the entire population of this small town of Abington has turned out for the show. You know, most of the, you know, you guys were introduced to Mayor Joe Aber. He's the town's mayor. So basically, Thunder has been kind of introducing all of you to the, you know, the big names of Abington. So everybody's jostling for seats out there. You know, you've got a couple of other minor acts out there in the three rings doing some juggling and, you know, juggling some bowling pins and other things. And everybody's waiting for the show to begin. And Thunder calls out, "All right, quiet everyone, quiet everyone!" And as you guys can notice, the lights are starting to go down. You know, and the audience starts to settle down as well. You guys are all taking your places backstage. You're waiting for your cues. And then suddenly, a couple of performers that are closest to the curtain, you know, that basically separates you guys from the open area into three rings, all of a sudden they're gathering in a small crowd. And there's a couple of gasp, and there's some whispers that are going on, because it's now just absolutely quiet. So as everybody's kind of, you know, getting in closer to the group, you guys can see that your good friend Thunder, or Myron Stendhal, he's lying on the ground, and his body's all contorted, and he's in terrible pain. And all of a sudden he's kind of choking and gurgling, and he's clutching his chest. And then he stops moving. Thunder seems to have kicked the bucket. I guess it's no pun intended, you know, for a circus, but
He kicked the pail.
He did. So, you know, everybody now is, you know, Myron had this beautiful, booming, powerful voice, and, you know, had control of the entire circus. You know, he was controlling the battlefield, per se, the circus battlefield. And now his corpse is just lying on the ground, and it's now complete silence in the crowd and complete silence behind the stage. And, you know, you're starting to hear some whimpers and crying as, "Oh, Myron's dead and Thunder's dead." But all of a sudden, you guys know that even though your ringmaster is dead, the crowd out there, that full crowd, that full tent of people, they're expecting a show. Oh, Doug's roboty. Uh-oh. Can't understand Doug. Little roboty.
Look, the same thing happened to me a long time ago. What matters most in life is real connections with people and nature. That's what the circus is. This show must go on. This is what the circus is about. This is where death is constantly watching. One frayed rope, one weak link, one trace of feather. We need to keep pushing forward. It's impossible to stop. This crowd is expecting a circus, and we're going to give them a gosh darn circus.
You know, that's... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead there, Omee. Can't hear you, Omee.
Maybe we should put something over him?
Yes. He says, that's a good idea, my friends. As the professor kind of shuffles his way through the crowd. And all of you are very fond of the professor. And as Zero kind of steps forward and tells everybody that there's no wink links here and you need to get your butts in gear, you got to, put a show on for this, this crowd out there. The professor comes forward, and I shared his image with you guys, and that's what he looks like. He says, "You all heard 010? Well, what are you waiting for? What are you all standing around for?" And he's a very softly spoken man. And then he says,
"Yeah, the show must go on. We've pitched a big tent, and it's at max capacity, just like every day for Emu.
He pats you on the head and he goes, "Well said, Emu." And he says, "Have you seen that crowd out there? We haven't ever, in all of the, practicing and performances that we've had, we've never had this tent packed this full. We could make some money. We could buy bigger tents. We could hire better performers. I mean, we've already got the best performers. We could start selling Omee Barton dolls. We could sell Emu dolls. So what are we waiting for? There's a show to put on, and we have to find a way to do it. So everyone, finish your makeup, get into your costumes, and send in the clowns." And then all of a sudden, dun, 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 and about a dozen or so clowns, they start to make their way into the big top, and they're filling up all three of the rings. So as the clowns were sent in, adventurers, what are we going to do about these? And the performer turns to the professor. He turns to you and says, "So what do you think? Who's going to be starting the show?"
Emu will start a show. Maybe you can get Emu a sexy assistant, if we do good. A nice, big, buxom goblin assistant with beautiful green flowing hair.
Are they big goblins? Or are you talking about a half-orc?
Oh, maybe a good half-orc with, only a little bit of hair on her legs.
Are you sure that's going to work, Emu? I kind of put my hand down for judge your height and judge a half-orc's height.
Got a step stool back in my tent.
No. As long as you got a plan.
And a trampoline if I need to.
How much are you charging to watch that?
Well, it depends. Is it just you, or do you got to bring some other friends with some money? Because, I don't mind putting on a show. I mean, that's why we're here.
All right. Might save that one for later, though. I think there's kids out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few, you hear some cheers. You start to hear some boos out there. You kind of peer through the flap of the tent, and the clowns out there are kind of bopping each other around, and there's about 10 clowns getting out of this little wagon that they push around.
If I see anybody booing, Emu like gets to the edge of the tent. He's like, "You are after the show. Meet me outside. You little punk. Yeah, I'm talking to you. The little kid with the cotton candy."
This little kid just looks at you as you're kind of hushed behind the flap of the curtain as it lowers, and Professor says, Now, Emu, we have to be nice to these paying customers."
We start off nice. We start off nice, and then, you can do whatever you want to do, Emu. I got an eyeball on that kid. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I kind of look at him, I kind of peek my head around and be like...
He just buries his face into his mom's lap as he just kind of keeps peering over that way towards you. So, adventurers, what kind of roles are you performing for this circus? You know that there is one half-orc. His name is Splug. He is you know him as a deaf-mute half-orc. And he is basically leading up the security detail. So he's actually a good friend of your guys', especially with Emu, because it seems like he always tries to keep you out of trouble.
Yeah, he laughs at all my jokes, but he can't hear them. It's funny.
Yeah. So it looks like Emu, he wants to put on an act. You need 4 performances tonight. Because the crowd they're anticipating a great show. So as you guys have already
How many clowns we got?
There's probably about a dozen clowns out there right now. But I believe Omee will probably be performing. I'm sure 010 will be performing. So what about Kang? What kind of role is Kang going to be doing tonight?
Kang will be the clown coordinator.
That's good, because they need you right now, because those clowns out there, they're clowning around, no pun intended.
They need some serious coordination.
Yeah. So as a coordinator, you're able to, basically do hand signals. There's some signs and stuff that you can hold up, some whistles, and that's how you're coordinating with the clowns. So, as you get to where you're at, you get to your station, you go out, you're in your clown suit. Wow, look at that freaking clown. But what do I look like, a freaking clown? Joe Pesci. Never mind. Sorry about that. But as you get out there, the clowns, they're starting to tame the crowd a little bit. So you've got that under control. Now, as for the 4 acts, there's 3 of you, and then you also have some other performers, but as I said, good old Thunder, he never said who was going to go on. So I'm going to go ahead and share the links of performers, and you have 6 performers at your fingertips. You have Axel's Amazing Aviary, you have the Dwarven Throwers, you have Elysia and Mr. Tickles, and then you also have the Flaming Sister, the Flamboni Sisters. You have the Featherfall 5, and you have Mordain, the Magician, which he is kind of like your rival a little bit, 010, because him being a decently powered magician, and him being a magician of the elements. I think you are as well. But he is more in the elements of water. So those are the performers that are at your fingertips. So what do you think, adventurers? Who are you sending out first? Or should I say circus masters now? Oh boy.
Well, Emu, do you have something planned? I know these people want to see some spoons, but if you'd like to go first.
I love the spoon show. It's amazing. The spoons are like the best goblin music I've ever heard. So, I can go out. That's fine. I plan well in advance. Like, I started thinking about it like 10 minutes before the show, so I'm like ready to go. Like, yeah, figured it out, I think.
All right, they'll give me some time to polish my spoons.
Oh yeah. All right.
So I'll go out. He pulls his little hood over him, and he's got all these like runes along the side that he's mostly kind of stitched in himself, and like his pentagrams are not exactly straight. His act is going to be Emu the Magnificent, and he's going to do a bunch of magical acts with no magical ability whatsoever, and we'll see how this all works out. But he's got a series of props that he has kind of rigged in his outfit. So
you're like Carrot Top then.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Cool. So you let the professor know that Emu is going out first. So
yeah, I need my props out there, like the little ring with the curtain and the sticks and some other stuff.
And he pulls out like a little spyglass and he kind of looks through the audience for a while, and he's looking for somebody in the audience with like a nice brown coin sack that's visible somehow.
Like, so you're going to get the crowd involved.
I need a volunteer from the audience.
Oh, yeah. Good. So the professor goes out. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, the Circus of Wayward Wonders brings to you the beautiful and fine town of Abberton, our first act of the evening." And the curtain opens up. And the fairy lights up there shine down at the curtain. And you see this big beam of light coming. And he says, "Our first act is Emu. And the crowd just goes crazy.
Yeah, it's Emu. Yeah. And Splug. Splug, get up here. I need a helper or assistant.
Splug just kind of, he's attached to your hip.
Yeah, get over here.
He doesn't hear you at first.
He can't hear anything. Yeah. All right. So, Splug, do it just like we told you. All right, everybody. Are you ready to see some amazing acts?
You hear a lot of the kids say, "Yeah, Emu."
Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. Yeah, and don't forget our sponsors, Bibberty. Bibberty will help you save your home and your carriages. So pray to Bibberty as much as possible. All right, so for the first act, I need a volunteer.
And I want to try to do like a perception to see if I spotted someone with like a nice brown coin,
give me
coin
a perception.
pouch or whatever.
Yeah, give me a perception check. Let's see what kind of target you find. That's not too bad. You find someone with you find several people, a couple of males and a couple of females that have purses or coin purses attached to their belt.
Hey, you, the old guy over there. This old guy with the brown shirt and the green thing in your nose. You, come up.
Who, me?
Yeah, get up here.
I didn't raise my hand.
And by the time he says he doesn't raise his hand, he's got about 5 people around him pushing him out.
Oh, thank you for volunteering, buddy. That's excellent.
Hey, I didn't want to do this, but okay, yeah. I'll have some fun with you. He goes,
He kind of winks towards you, and he goes,
"Yeah, I've done a couple of tricks myself, so just let me know what I need to do to ham this up."
Yeah, that's good.
Well, and I pull out a sword, my rapier.
I'm like, we're just going to slide this through you a couple times, and then magically, you won't even feel it. It's a mad. No, I know. Oh, that's our other show.
And he puts it back in his
he starts sweating. You can see that he's sweating.
Yeah. All right, so we have to blindfold him. Splug.
So yeah, Splug, he breaks out the he's feverishly watching you because you know that he can read lips from 100 yards away. He's great with reading lips. So, but he's got one of your props and he pulls it out of his belt. That's he's a good warrior. You know this, and that's why he's head of the security detail. But he takes this bag out. I just had to throw a mention in there for Splug, because he's deaf and mute, and so. He takes his bag, he kind of fluffs it out a couple times, and then he puts it over the old gentleman's head, and you can hear him saying, "Hey, Who turned off the lights here? And then he starts talking, low again. Just let me know when you need me to,